Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these videos every single weekday. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Right now we are seeing Bitcoin fall. Now throughout the week we've been on these live streams every single day, and every single day we've been looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum dropping around 1%, 0.5%, just a slow bleed to the downside. But now we have seen a bigger fall to the downside within the last 24 hours. So Bitcoin is down 4% and Ethereum is down 3%. Bitcoin's at 26,316 and Ethereum's at 1,765. So we are going to be discussing the reasons for this today. We will also be taking a look at the latest cryptocurrency news, see what else is going on in the market. But I know a lot of people want to understand why Bitcoin is dumping, so we will get onto that towards the end of today's live stream, and then we'll finish off with some technical analysis as well. So make sure to stay tuned to the very end. Let's get straight into today's news today, because we do have a lot to discuss, and I have another meeting at 10:30. I think I'm going to be a little bit late to that, but we're going to run through the news today and get everything jam-packed in as quick as possible. So let's take a look at this one. First of all, we have Ethereum GPU miners find a new lease of life powering AI. So Ethereum made the merge from proof of work to proof of stake in September 2022. Now, we all know the problems that surround proof of work. It has really bad environmental effects, or so they say. We are seeing Bitcoin mining really make improvements on that scenario. However, Ethereum has decided to make this move from proof of work to proof of stake. They are trying to lower the transaction fees. They are trying to become a deflationary asset. They're trying to be better for the environment. Whether those things have become true, I mean, we have seen deflation of the token of Ethereum. However, transaction fees have been incredibly high during this meme coin craze. So there are debates to be had over whether proof of work or proof of stake are better, and whether actually proof of work is even that bad for the environment. A lot of miners are using renewable sources. However, back to this story, Ethereum did decide to change from proof of work to proof of stake. No matter what the end of that debate is, that's the decision they made. And this left a lot of Ethereum miners with all of this hardware with no use. So with Bitcoin, we have all of this hardware that competes to complete complex cryptographic puzzles in order to help mine the blockchain, and that is proof of work. And Ethereum was on this system. And then Ethereum decided to move to proof of stake, leaving all of these miners with all of this hardware and nothing to use it for. So it was very, very convenient that at the same time of Ethereum switching to proof of stake, we did also see the rise in AI and things like ChatGPT. And because of this switch, it means that these Ethereum miners with all of this hardware have something they can use this hardware for. So the transition to proof of stake came with an additional downside, which would become of all powerful GPU miners that were the network's backbone for so long. And now we've seen that coincidentally, in Ethereum shifted to proof of stake, AI led by ChatGPT was taking off. So companies that own thousands of Ethereum GPU miners, such as Hive Blockchain and Hut 8 Mining, saw an opportunity to repurpose their rigs into computing the necessary algorithms for artificial intelligence. So this coincidence has happened perfectly, so that all of these Ethereum miners aren't just throwing away this really expensive hardware. So they obviously they weren't going to throw it away, but they needed to find something that was useful, that it could be useful for, and something that was profitable as well, because mining obviously is something that people do for profit. They want to support the network. They also want to earn Ethereum. Now they can't do that. They've got all of this hardware. They don't know what to do, and AI has just come at the right time where they can easily transition the goal of this hardware onto something else so they can help power AI. So taking a look at this, former Ethereum mining companies have been using the chips in the Ethereum miners to power high-performance computing for several clients across various industries, and Hut 8 Chief Executive Officer has said if you can reapply some of that investment in the GPU mining infrastructure and convert it to new cards and workloads, it makes sense. So we're seeing repurposing GPUs to power AI might be expensive for some. So this isn't a scenario, this isn't the perfect outcome for all Ethereum miners. Not every Ethereum miner can easily make this transition. We can see here that BitPro Consulting, a mining brokerage service firm, between 5 and 15% of current crypto mining GPUs can find new life in AI and other HPC applications such as computer vision and generative graphic design. So that is still a small percentage, but we are still seeing that transition and seeing these mining rigs be used for some good, or to be used to continue development of AI. Now, everybody believes that AI is good, so we'll take that phrase back. But that is what we're looking at in this scenario. So it's interesting to see how we can continue to move forward with these technologies. We also have another article on AI. Not so good, this one. Let's take a look at this. So, this isn't the article I was thinking of. This one is okay. This is an interesting story. Let's take a look at this. Let me check the stream is all running smoothly and we've got everything in store. Okay, so the next story is that Worldcoin, a project created by the CEO of OpenAI, commits with Optimism. So before we get into this story, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button. We do these live streams every single day around 10, 11, 12 a.m. BST time. And we are really trying to get out the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets as well. And at the end of today's stream, we will be discussing why Bitcoin seems to have fallen off the face of the earth. We can see here that we have Jerome said they can stake all the lovely Ethereum they've mined. They can do, and that is a benefit of this. However, they have these huge mining rigs and they need to use it for something. So it's good to see that they're looking for alternatives and making big transitions to help with other technologies. So we have Worldcoin, that is a project created by the CEO of OpenAI. And this aims to create a decentralized identification network that is open and freely accessible, places ownership in the hands of the community, and opens up access to global economy for everyone committed to optimism, migrating from Polygon. Let's take a look at this. So Worldcoin Foundation and early contributors at Tools for Humanity announced on Thursday a commitment to support the Optimism Collective to help them create the superchain vision, helping them build a scalable blockchain ecosystem using the OP stack. And Worldcoin is a project from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI and the creator of ChatGPT. Altman co-founded Worldcoin in 2020 to allow people to prove their humanity online. So we may be looking at this token. I mean, I looked at this token and I thought, what's the new service that they're providing? And that's a question to ask yourself when looking at different cryptocurrencies. We always try and look for new low-cap cryptocurrencies, but we want it to have that edge. It needs to be able to compete with the leading cryptocurrencies so far. Now, usually we're looking at the technology, seeing what the technology can provide. So let's say, for example, we've got Ethereum, and then we've got a competitor to Ethereum, which has faster transaction speeds. It has lower transaction fees. We can look at them, compare them, and see what this low-cap coin offers that the high-cap coin doesn't, and see what advantage that has that could make it rise in value. Now, that is something we normally look for, but the other thing we can look for is the utility. So we may look at this token and say, do you know what? It doesn't offer us anything that the high cap coins don't already offer us. We already have a project that offers these services, so it may typically not be of use. However, because this is a token created by these people, its utility may be a big factor. So they may implement it into different technologies and give it this massive use case. And although the actual technology doesn't compete with all the high cap coins or is just on par with all the other high cap altcoins, if they offer it some utility and they give it a use case that the high cap altcoins don't have, it may be of a huge value. So that is what we need to look for in this scenario, I think. That's the angle I'm taking on this. So it's still a really interesting token to take a look at. If you want to take a look, or idea or concept to take a look at. So if you want to learn more about that, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com. As I always say, the best cryptocurrency news platform out there, absolutely free to check out. Just go to cryptosavingexpert.com. And also, if you click this blue button up here and you create an account, you just need to put your first name, last name, email, and create a password. If you tick that box as well, you get access to a newsletter every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. BST time, recapping you on the latest news and talking about what's going on in the week to come as well. So make sure to do that before Tuesday so you don't miss out. Don't forget, and just do it right now. Let's take a look at the next article here. Quan, let's take a look at this one. Quan pleads not guilty to fake passport charges. So Quan's lawyer wants their clients granted bail and placed under a house arrest in Montenegro. And Quan, the co-founder and CEO of Terraform Labs, has pleaded not guilty to charges of document forgery brought by local authorities in Montenegro where they were arrested. So we can see here, I feel like this article is going to anger a lot of people here in the chat today. So recall that Quan Quan, Terraform Labs' chief financial officer who pleaded not guilty, was arrested in March at an airport in Montenegro's capital while fleeing to Dubai on a private jet. And during the court hearing, the first since his arrest, defense lawyer requested that the defendants be freed on bail of €400, so around $437 each, and be held under house arrest. However, prosecutors objected to the proposal because the duo had financial means but no interest in staying Montenegro. So Do Kwon promised not to stay hidden, show up when requested, and agree to security measures if bail is granted. And Quan also pledged to give more details about their assets, claiming that they would have disclosed account numbers if not for the presence of the media in the courtroom. So in addition, the Terra creator said that most assets are in volatile and liquid form, stating that it was difficult to estimate their market value. And the founder also mentioned jointly owning a flat in Seoul worth €3 million. So they did not mention when or if bail would be granted, but the next hearing is scheduled for the 16th of June, so a month away from now. Also, as a side note, I think it's absolutely crazy that it's almost June. It's almost summer. This year has gone so quickly. We can see here, obviously, that is not too far away. So we will be reporting on that when that court case does take place. But we'll be reporting on the latest news on that. It'll be a very interesting story to see how this plays out. Both the Do Kwon story and the Sam Bankman-Fried story are really interesting stories because I would really like to see how they end. I don't expect them to end as everybody anticipated. Everyone was expecting they would have life sentences. It would be the end of their careers. It would be the end of their lives. But we are seeing them plead not guilty to a lot of things. We're seeing them try and worm their way out of things that people thought they couldn't worm their way out of. So we'll keep an eye on these stories. It will be a very interesting one. So let's take a look anyway. So if Quan and June said in court that the Costa Rican passports were valid during their arrest, and Montenegrin officials accused the duo of carrying falsified Belgian and Costa Rican travel documents. If found guilty, Quan and the associate face a maximum prison sentence of 5 years, and local authorities have already stipulated that Quan must end criminal proceedings in the country before being extradited to either the US or South Korea to face the wrath of the law. So it's just doing sentences in one country, then moving to the other and doing sentences there as well if they are found guilty. So meanwhile, South Korean prosecutors have frozen more than 233 billion won, so over $174 million of the Terra co-founders' assets, including cryptocurrency, property, and securities. So as I said, it will be very interesting to see how this story plays out, but we'll be keeping an eye on that. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button. We've got a couple more stories here, and then we're going to take a look at why Bitcoin is falling through the floor. First of all, we need to talk about this though. The SEC issues subpoena to Bitcoin miner Marathon Digital over possible violation of securities law. So let's take a look at this. It is a Montana-based data center. My head's still in the previous article, clearly. On Wednesday, one of the largest Bitcoin mining companies revealed it had received a subpoena from the US SEC on 10th of April. The subpoena relates to the SEC's probe in its 100 megawatt data center based in Montana. In October 2020, they reportedly entered a series of agreements with several parties to establish the Montana data center. However, the transactions have since been the subject of an investigation by the SEC over potential securities law violations. So let's see what the mining company have said. They've said the company received an additional subpoena on the from the SEC on April the 10th, relating to, amongst other things, transactions with related parties. We understand that the SEC may be investigating whether or not there may have been any violations of the federal securities law. So, the securities regulator, the SEC, initially issued a subpoena on Marathon and its executives in September 2 years ago, 2021, regarding the same data center. And in the filing, the SEC asked the company to produce relevant documents and communications that concern the Montana facility. So, they've said, we are cooperating with the SEC, and that is something that's really important. If they don't cooperate with the SEC, the SEC are just going after everyone in crypto right now. It's just a mess over in the US with cryptocurrency regulation. We can see here, Marathon's share is currently up 8.9% to $10.22 when writing. Despite the turbulence most crypto miners faced last year, Marathon stock holds an impressive price performance 5 months into the year. So usually, mining company stocks usually follow the price of Bitcoin pretty closely. So if Bitcoin's up, mining companies are going to see their stock rise, and if Bitcoin is down, mining companies are going to see their stock fall. It's a very tight relationship that they typically have. So the price has gained over 200% since the beginning of 2023, and this is where we actually see the potential of this. This isn't uncommon. We've seen many different mining companies perform incredibly well this year because Bitcoin has been performing well, even outperforming Bitcoin. So that's something I'm going to take a little bit of time to research and see if cryptocurrency based stocks are something that I want to invest in, as well as the cryptocurrency market. So let's take a look at this. The company posted a net loss of $7.2 million in the year's first quarter, which is an improvement considering the $12.9 million net loss in Q1 2022. Now, I believe that mining stocks have outperformed Bitcoin this year, or a couple of them have this year, because there's a little bit more of a risk with investing into mining companies in terms of rather than investing into Bitcoin. So when the price of Bitcoin was below $20,000, there's a lot of fear in the markets, but people that have some balls of steel still invest in Bitcoin for the long term. Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and if they believe in the 4-year cycles, they believe it's going to continue to make an all-time high. Now, with mining companies, we also can see that relationship between the price of Bitcoin and between the mining company stocks. However, they have an additional risk, because this mining company, a specific mining company, may not survive the bear market. We know that Bitcoin is going to continue as Bitcoin, and if you hold one Bitcoin, you hold one Bitcoin. If you believe in the 4-year cycles, you know it'll go up. If you invest in the mining company, you have to not only believe in the 4-year cycles and that Bitcoin will go up again, but also believe that the particular mining stock that you're investing into will make it through the bear markets. That's that additional risk, but obviously those investors have benefited massively. They've gained 200%, and maybe some of these investors will be putting those profits into Bitcoin. Who knows? Let's take a look at the next article now and see what else is going on. I have a meeting in 4 minutes. I'm definitely going to be late to that one, but don't worry, we've got to talk about the news today. We have Justin Sun reveals plans to actively trade meme coins. So Sun is setting out on a meme coin trading expedition after enticing developers to launch the tokens on Tron. So obviously we've seen massive moves in the meme coin sector within the last month. We've seen tokens that were created within like the last couple of days perform incredibly well. I did get a little bit involved, then I decided against the idea. I'm not a huge fan of meme coins, never have been, never will be. They don't have any utility. Nobody has any relationship to the coin. Nobody has any long-term perspectives. That makes it really hard. It's just so volatile. So that wasn't something that I really did for the long term. I invested into Peepo, and then I sold my tokens, took a profit, and I thought that's all I'm doing in this meme coin sector. I'm not going in for the long term, and I'm not going to continue risking my funds, because the more you risk, it becomes a point that you continue to risk until you lose, in my opinion. But however, the Justin Sun has been pushing for meme coin developers during this craze around the industry to start developing tokens on Tron. And after saying that, he said he wants to actively trade meme coins as well. So he is really trying to push the Tron network during the different crazes seasons that we see. I would call it a meme coin season, and he's trying to push this as much as possible. So let's see what he's been saying. He said, "I've decided to begin actively trading meme coins and promising projects through my public address." So this is him basically saying, if you are a developer and you create tokens on the Tron network, he may actually invest in your project through his public address so that everybody can see that he's investing in your project. The project will likely do well in that scenario. I mean, if you see Vitalik Buterin invest in a meme coin on Ethereum, that's going to create some hype. So he's probably anticipating the same things here. Obviously, that's just a speculation, but this is why I assume we can all see his public address, so we can all see what he's deciding to invest into, and I imagine a lot of people will follow him as well. So we can see here, "I will personally bear all potential losses from these trades." He said, "However, it's crucial to remember that my investments do not constitute financial advice, and there is no guarantee of listing these projects on any exchange, including Huobi Global and Poloniex." So he has seen that it's been a meme-verse carnival, and many meme coins have been performing very well, and he is really trying his very best to get projects to start developing on Tron and see some of those, see some money flow into Tron during this meme coin season. It's a very good promotional tool, that is. But let's take a look at the next article here. We are also seeing here that assets in BlockFi's interest-bearing accounts do not belong to users, according to the judge. So, Jerome Powell said in the chat, I'm a lot better trading meme coins than leverage trading. Now, that is a good point to make. Meme coins, if they have the right community, you can spot meme coins that are about to perform very well, but it's just very in, out, in, out, in, out, and there's a lot of risk involved. Leverage trading is risky as well. However, I believe you could have a more, you could put more probability into your leverage trades. When you trade Bitcoin, you trade Ethereum, and you're looking at technical analysis, you're using chart patterns that you can learn about in our courses at cryptosavingexpert.com. You can take all of these things into account, and that helps you build a probability that it's more likely that Bitcoin's going to move up than down, or it's more likely that it's going to move down than it's going to move up, and that helps you create your analysis before entering a leverage position. Whereas with meme coins, I believe it is, I mean, they're both very risky tools, but I would say that meme coins are much more risky, and they're more of a gambling tool than I would say. I hate when people say that trading is gambling. However, I feel like meme coins really gets close to that. It's cusping on the edge. Let's take a look at the next one here. Assets in BlockFi's interest-bearing accounts do not belong to users. So BlockFi is a company that did unfortunately fall in 2022 when we saw that catastrophic domino effect. So we are now seeing the repercussions of this. If you want more news on this, don't forget to go to cryptosavingexpert.com to read that news article. I am being cautious here because I am already 1 minute late to a meeting, but we have some really important news to discuss here. These last three articles, I'm not going to rush them. We're going to take our time in these ones. The last two, we are talking about why Bitcoin is dumping, and then we're going to do some Bitcoin analysis as well. First of all, we have this article here. Binance US is looking for ways to reduce CZ's majority ownership. So Binance US is reportedly seeking ways of reducing CZ's majority ownership stake in the company. And here's the crypto exchange's founder, majority owner, and chairman. So the American arm of the world's largest exchange has been exploring ways of reducing his stake, and this is according to a report by The Information citing two people familiar with the matter. And CZ has been working on offloading some of his shares at Binance US since last summer, and before US regulators started cracking down on the industry after the FTX collapse in November. And so we can see here that it's not just as a repercussion of these problems that he's facing, it is actually an ongoing battle to try and reduce his stake and allow a little bit of a diversification there as well. So let's move on to the next article here. We do need to talk about why Bitcoin is dumping. Let's take a look at this article here. Now, we all know it is public knowledge that the US government do currently hold Bitcoin. And they are saying that they are going to dump this Bitcoin in 4 trenches. Now, we can see here how much do they own? 9.8 thousand Bitcoins. This is currently worth around $277 million. Now, they've already dumped some of this Bitcoin. I believe it was on the 14th of March, but this is purely off memory, so it could be completely wrong. And when I see the candle, I will know if it was the 14th of March. Let's take a look at this. 14th of March, I know which one it is just off the candle. It's this one here. It was the 14th of March. So we can see here that on this day, it was still a green day. I mean, let me draw that a bit clearer. It was this day here. We did have a big wick to the upside. There was a lot of buying pressure on this day, and they dumped it back down again. However, it was still a green day overall, and the dump from the US government was absorbed by the markets incredibly quickly. A lot of people saw this as a buy opportunity. Buying below $26,000 doesn't look like a bad shout to me. So we can see here that they have said that they do need to continue to sell some Bitcoin, and we do obviously have some fears around this when people are seeing that so much Bitcoin could be dumped into the market. People are thinking the price is going to go down, they're going to sell some Bitcoin, they're going to close their long positions. There's going to be a lot of fear around this. Now, they've spooked the markets a fair few times with this news now. We have people on Twitter that talk about the whales, and they will tweet if a whale moves some Bitcoin. So There's a lot of speculation on whether these addresses that these whales are tracking, that these accounts are tracking, are actually the US government or not. Now, when we see some fears around the US government, if we see tweets like this and it says, look, the US government could be selling the next tranche of Bitcoin, we keep seeing Bitcoin fall. The speculation around when the US government is going to dump their Bitcoin is dumping Bitcoin more than the US government actually managed to dump Bitcoin when they dumped the first trench, if that makes sense to you. So the fears around it are actually more of a negative impact than the actual thing. And this is something I've said over and over again. This is something we expected to see here on the channel. The fear around dumping is often much, much worse than the actual dump. So we just need to keep an eye on this. But this is expected to be one of the reasons why Bitcoin has been dumping within the last 24 hours. We also expect this to be as an effect of Jane Street and Jump Crypto, two of the major cryptocurrency market makers, leaving the US. Well, not leaving the US, they're just dialing down their operations. And market makers provide liquidity to markets. They buy and sell a specific asset over and over again, and they make tiny, tiny profits on these trades over and over again. Over time, this adds up, so they make profits, but it also provides liquidity to the markets as well. So them moving out of the US has potentially been a reason why we've seen the markets fall as well. So there are two major reasons why we've seen Bitcoin dump. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart here and see what's going on in the smaller time frames as well. So Bitcoin has unfortunately fallen below our lower level of support. Now, Bitcoin has been adhering to these levels very, very nicely. It's been treating them respectively for months now, since the 17th of March. And now we have unfortunately fallen below this zone here. So this is a zone between the $26,600 to the $26,900 level. And we have unfortunately fallen below that. I would be interested to see if we can come up and retest it, see if it does act as a level of resistance. And if it does, we could potentially be in for looking at lower levels here. So we definitely do have a level of previous resistance here at $25,261. And that is potentially, hopefully, going to act as a level of support. We are currently at, if we take a look back here, we have had a level of resistance here, and the top of that resistance is here as well. So if we take a look at what else is going on here, we've used these two. Let me change the color of these so it's a little bit clearer. I am very, very late to my meeting now. We can see here we use these levels as a level of resistance at 25,900 and 26,400. We then immediately use that as a level of support. So that's definitely a level to keep an eye on. If we go to the current price for Bitcoin at this point in time, that's the point we're looking at now. So we may potentially see a bounce from this point here. If not, I'll be looking at that $25,900 level. And if not, I'll be looking at that $25,260 level. So they're the levels to keep an eye on right now. Other than that, if we do see a bounce, we'll be looking at the levels we've been looking at for months here on the channel. Let's take a look at the RSI and the MACD, see what's going on here. I expect them to be pretty bullish since that we have seen a move to the downside. RSI is showing that we are oversold. We are in that territory, but the MACD is showing that we have growing bearish momentum. So that's definitely something we need to keep an eye on. We obviously have the Bitcoin CME gap opening tonight as well. So we need to keep an eye on that. We will be discussing that on Monday morning in the stream, talking about whether we are going to close that, whether we even have one, and the concerns that that could bring. So make sure to come back on Monday to discuss that a little bit further. That is all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all back here on Monday with more cryptocurrency news. Thank you for watching. See you then.